In this video, we'll see how you can add Google Firebase database to your application, which is the way that you will be able to access a database from your application. So the first step we are going to do is to get started with a new project. And I'll choose a single view app. Click next. So let's name this anything like database test. And then click next, and I'll create it on my desktop because it's going to be easier for me to navigate, because you will have to navigate to it later on. Now this bundle identifier right here is something that we will need in the database or in Firebase, so let's copy it from now, and then I will go to Firebase and I will add a new project. So you can give it any name, so I'll call it my database test. I forgot an A here, and I'll say continue. So this is just for your reference inside Firebase, and click continue. I'll choose my default account for Firebase. If you don't have an account, just go to firebase.google.com and create an account, and you'll say create project, and we'll wait for this to create. So again, you will need to have an account with Firebase to have this working. So if you don't have an account, just go ahead and create it. It's just simple account creation. And my project is ready, so I'll say continue. Now this is my project, so I will go first and click on iOS and see the bundle ID that we copied from Xcode right here. It needs to go in here, and then you can have a nickname for your app, database test. This is what I'll put, and then you just say register the app, and our app is registered. So the next thing is to go and install what we call Cocoapods if you don't have Cocoapods installed. And to install Cocoapods, you can just Google install Cocoapods and you'll get to their website, and they have detailed installation process. So you just follow those details on terminal and you will have Cocoapods on your machine. So you probably will have to use your own machine, because you will have to have admin rights on the machine to be able to install Cocoapods, and it's an essential part of what we're doing right now. Now I have Cocoapods installed, so I'll go and look for terminal, and in terminal I will need to navigate to my project directory. So my project is on my desktop, so I'll say cd desktop, and then let me just check on my desktop, and I have it in my desktop. It's called database test, so it should be right here. So this is what I'm looking for, so I'll say cd database test, and now I'm inside the project directory. You will have to initialize Cocoapods, and this is going to be by saying pod space init. And let me show you the project directory before I initialize anything and after I initialize it. So let me just go to my desktop, and this is my database test. So these are the files I have right now, and once I run this command, I will have a file that just got created right here. So we will need to open this file with any kind of text editor that we have. I'll just open it up with text edit in Mac, and then before the last end line you will type in those two lines. So you'll say pod, and then you will need to type in two lines. The first one is Firebase /core, And the second one is going to be pod, and is going to be Firebase slash database. And you will need to save this database. I forgot an A here. Save it. And let me close this, and I will go back to terminal, and I will say pod space install, and it's going to install everything until you get to the end. Everything is installed. Now let's go ahead and close Xcode because we are going to deal with the new project file. Now if you go back, we used to deal with the first one, database test.xcode project. Now I need to work with the other one, .xc workspace. So this is the one that is going to have all of the database setup. So let me open that up, and I have the pods right here. So I'll just open it up and open the first one to see all of my files. So I'll just go ahead right here. This step is not necessary, but this is just to show me if my app is running, because we will need to run our app to make sure it's connected. So I'll just say hello, and I'll see this whenever my app runs. So after this, you will have to go back to Firebase. Now see this file, download Google service -info.plist. You will need to download this, and once you download it, you will need to copy it with the project files. So I'll just drag it like this and place it in my project files. Make sure that you have this checked, copy items if needed, and you add it to the database test, which is your project, and click finish. So right now we have everything set up, but then we need to do some initialization. So let's go back here and click next. Now we did this step where we did the pod install and everything, so we'll click next. Now we need to copy this code into our app delegate. So I will copy everything that's inside this part and say copy, and then I will go back to my app delegate, and what I copied used to be right here, because see function application, and let's see, it's the function application right here. So from var window until the end of function application. So I will go back to Xcode and paste this in here. Now I'll get an error, so I'll just say fix this, and I get another error because I need to import Firebase. And let me save this and try to build it. Sometimes you'll get an error when you try to import Firebase. Just press Control or Command B to build your project, and this error should be gone. I'm just building the project to make sure that everything is okay. Now we were able to build the project. So what I need to do right now is to initialize my project with Firebase, which is the next step. So I'll click next. Now this is waiting for me to issue a connection from my application to the server to make sure that everything is connected. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to go back to my Xcode and run my project. So let's wait for the project to launch. And since I didn't see hello, it's still launching. So I saw this hello here. So let me go back to this. And this should be green. Sometimes if it's not green, you will have to run it more than one time, or sometimes you'll just have to wait for your connection. And once this turns green, then your database is all set up. So if you don't see this running, just close this and try to run it back again. Sometimes it takes more than one time for it to be initialized. Now I got this check mark, that means my Firebase database is ready. So I'll just click go to console, and then I will go to database. I'll scroll down for real-time database. This is what we need. So we need a real-time database. So I'll say create database. Now you will eventually have it in locked mode when you are about to publish your app, but for testing, let's have it in test mode, because it is going to allow you to write and read. Because if you have it like this, it's not going to allow you to write and read. So let's have it in test mode, and then you can always change it back. You can just go to the rules and you can change these, because if these are false, you will not be able to write or read anything in your Firebase database. And with this, you're all set up. So the next video, in the next video, I'll show you how you can add data, delete data, and read data from your database.